There he is.
Hello, Mark.
Hello, David. Hello, buddy.
Cool. Right. Our last impromptu session. Let's see where this goes.
Yes. Yeah, it's kind of a bit like yeah, an artist transparently painting their journey in a bit of a messy way on the canvas with this paint splashing over and bits and pieces showing, and like the full different range of emotions coming out in the process. It's been a bit like that for me. I don't know what your experience has been. That's been a bit like it for me. It feels like at times messy, at times painful, at times liberating. Yeah, it's a bit interesting to like put your guts on a screen, but that's cool. And I think just to link it to something we've said in previous sessions, I really do believe the world needs more authentic dialogue. And we need to drop the facade and the crap and the bullshit and actually, be man enough, woman enough, human enough to actually realize that more than less of us are actually hurting on some level. The cracks are showing in all human beings. You can be the most top CEO of a company. You could have a life of luxury. But I don't know about you. I've coached some of those people. I don't see the spark in the eye. I don't see the light glimmering from sheer joy and wonderment at the existence of being alive in your big house. I don't. And, I think just thinking, reflecting on the coaching world, throw another challenge because, I'm a popular man throwing challenges to the coaching world. It's like we don't coach broken people. We only coach whole people. And I'm like, okay, where are they? Where are they? I think we've all got cracks, man. We've all got cracks. So if I can support someone who's got cracks, I've got cracks, but I'm going to listen to you, and I'm David, I know that's the space that you hold for people as well. We're there. We're holding the space for people to be able to talk this stuff through.
Okay.
The bits that I'm resisting right now are the ones that want to tell on a public stage just like how much they're making. That's where my heart doesn't really beat for. It just doesn't. And if it beats for someone else, that's okay. It just doesn't beat for me. I just have to say that. Is that okay for me to say that? It feels like it.
How do you measure success, Mark?
I think we need to redefine success altogether. We all bought the story of success. Yeah. And I know I could be glib with this. I would say that everyone needs to redefine their own success because my success might be different from your success. And in one day, I have failures and successes in one day. Actually, in 1 hour, I have failures and successes. So just to give context, so like I've been watching my daughter, who's 10, she calls him Bappa. That's her granddad. Yeah. And they're trading stories. Was his birthday yesterday. So it's actually Jesse's father. So my, what do you call that? Father-in-law. And we've got him here at the home. And watching the two of them chat the ears off of each other and like share trade stories, a 10-year-old and a 77-year-old. and on the beanbag in our house. Now that's success. It's success of relationship. It's success of listening, success of compassion, success of two beings from how many generations apart is that? Two or three? You know, that's success. Then me phoning a client, a multinational, to see when the training that I lost might come back on, and they say, well, the budget's been slashed from X amount to, it's like 1/20th of what it was. And so we don't know when we can give you that piece of work back. We want to use you, Mark, but we don't know when. And I get off the phone going, I really needed that to pay my daughter's school fees. That feels like failure. It feels like failure. That's what I mean. In 1 hour, I'm having success and failure. I think we're too general with this notion of it. And I think it can move from a moment to moment. And that's my ramble. Let me shut up for a second. David, what do you think success is?
Well, I know that financial success is. My idea was when I've got enough money, then I'll go off and be able to do what I want to do, which is going to help others. And then in 2007, I thought, shit, I better find a career where I can go and make money doing what I like doing. And then I went into the world of coaching. And then when I got into the world of coaching, I thought this would be really good for the people that I want to support, and that's people that are impacted by addiction. So the amount of people that I can turn on to recovery, I measure that as a success. So that's what fulfills my soul. If you look at my finances, they're a disaster. But if you look at the people that have been influenced by having their minds influenced, I think I've been very successful. Yeah. Adapting to change and to this COVID stuff and to continue operating, I think I've been pretty successful around it, even though it has had an emotional impact on me physically, mentally, and spiritually, where I've had to kind of put my hand up and say, whoa, guys, I'm in trouble here, and ask for help. And I think that was a success. I think, having the humility to say, listen, I can't do this anymore, and to take responsibility for it, and to go around to the people around me and say, listen, I need some help, has been successful. However, it has had an impact. So it's kind of impacted some of my relationships with my family members in particular, but in general, most humans are kind of understanding and accepting of that. Yeah. So that's how I measure success. But chasing wealth isn't something that excites me. The figures in my bank account have an impact on me. When there's lots of minuses there, and when there are pluses there, I feel good. But that doesn't excite me. So making the most out of my time is successful. And I think being able to do talks like this and to broadcast out into the world and has been successful.
I think that's it. You demonstrated just by our very different kind of sharing that I think it's a personal I think it needs to be linked somehow to your essence, your own value system, what's important for you. I think we need to, like intelligence, like what is intelligence? It's not IQ necessarily, and it isn't even just EQ and IQ. I mean, you can have a sporting kind of intelligence, you can have an artistic or musical intelligence, you could have a social engagement intelligence. I think we're too simplified in our way of measuring things. You know, we're not holistic enough. That's what I'm hearing from the both of us. If I put both of our pictures together, because I mean, some of the stuff you're saying also resonates with me. You know, me getting more honest and more vulnerable, which is what you've been doing, has been, I don't know, it's been both a success and failure. But that's an interpretation. What I mean by that is a lot of people have said, wow, Mark, you opened the door for me to speak up about certain things. And some other people said to me, shut up, you're hurting the coaching industry. Like how that I actually I don't agree. Whoever, you know, it's been more than one. I don't just let me tell you, I do not agree with that. I think we're having an honest conversation about this industry, and we should, like all industries, like the film industry, like what people get up to behind the scenes. I think we should have honest conversations about that shit that goes down. Like, for heaven's sake. Sorry, I'm being a bit like pedestaled here, a bit like what's it on my soapbox. It's just that's what it causes in me. Like, I cannot understand a person who wouldn't want to look at their own industry and say, hang on, guys, can't we do this a bit more better?
Where were you a month ago, Mark?
Sure, a month ago I was fragmented and fractured.
And where are you now?
I am slowly putting the pieces together, and I'm having a much better idea of my reinvention. And I think I'd like to share that if you don't mind.
Go for it.
So I will still work with certain clients that I have fantastic relationships with. And the reason I will, in some of those corporate clients, is because I value the relationship I have with the people inside the corporate. Okay. But what I'm not going to be doing is saying, I'm going to take your team to the next level. I'm going to get you material success. I'm going to, you know, rock your business. I'm not going to do that. Because I'm not interested. I think the world needs something different. So my reinvention,
it doesn't work.
Yeah,
the teams and the people within the business need to rock their own business. You can be a catalyst to go in and you know, kind of have conversations that influence cultural change, but unless inside the organization, unless they want to change, it's not going to happen.
Exactly, and that's where I question the hype and the overselling of the industry, what it does. So I've completely about turned, and I'm not going to do that anymore at all.
Okay.
And where I want to contribute actually is to, I'm not going to be shy of this word, healing.
Say that again.
Healing through dialogue.
Okay.
Healing through conversation. And it doesn't matter who you are or what your job title is, because even CEOs, for example, need healing. And relationships need healing.
What is healing?
Relationship to self. Well, it's not fixing. Let me say. So it's not like I'm a Sangoma or a doctor. I don't mean it in that context. I mean it in the context of starting a dialogue that the dialogue has in it healing components. Does that make sense? So the movement, so the movement of language is a healing kind of dialogue. Doesn't mean it's a fixing thing. You know, it's the dialogue in itself is healing.
So the conversation that creates an education can often be, and a wisdom or an awareness can often have a therapeutic impact in the absence of pathology.
Exactly.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, that's the direction. And what
I
scares me about
agree.
that is that it's not like that's where the big bucks are. So much,
It's where the big bucks should be because
yeah,
that's where you're going to get a return on the investment. If
yeah.
I mean that's
So, so my internal tension is, I'm just being really vulnerable with you for a second. I can't let my girls down, David. Uh, my daughter's at standard 11 in a boarding school. She wants to finish at that same boarding school. I've got to find the fees for her to finish matric at the same boarding school. I will do everything in my power to make that happen for my girl, right? For my eldest. Um, so I need to do this work, but I need to have a level of pragmatism about the way I do it. I do need to earn money, do need to honor my commitments and agreements and pay those bills, right? But that's all I want. It's not like I don't want to be driving flashy cars or talking about massive success. I just want to live in a level of integrity to the
well.
commitments that I've made.
I mean, you can do that once you can explain what the return on the investment is.
Yeah.
It's not like people are going to come and hire you and go, Sham Mark needs to put his girls through
No.
school. They're gonna hire you because you're going to bring value to the organization. You're going to be working with individuals and with teams in an
Yeah.
integritous way. This where you're not going to kind of like blow smoke up people's asses and hype them up. It's
Yeah.
like, this is the work. You'll have to do your part in it to get a return on your
Exactly.
investment. And
Exactly.
if you're just going to throw money at the problem and abdicate your responsibility, it's not going to work.
Yeah.
Which yeah.
And to do that, what we're doing, to do that, there does need to be a level of vulnerability in the conversation and a level of authenticity in the conversation, though. There
Yeah.
needs to be the willingness to drop the wall. And us men are quite good at putting up the walls, right? And in fact, we've taught many women that that's what they think they should do when really they have much more beautiful gifts to offer when they allow the walls to come down.
Well,
And
my opinion is the challenge in the world is not with people bringing down the walls. It's what to do when someone's let down their guard, let down the wall. Often it's the listener that freaks out and goes, "Ah, fuck, what must I do now?"
yeah,
So it's the listener's fragility to witness someone when they've dropped their wall or dropped the guard or just to kind of bring the raw honesty. That's the
yeah. Well, do we model that? There's a question to you. Do we, as a coach, facilitator, trainer, whatever you want to call it, doesn't really matter what you call it, right? But do we model that then? Because I
well, I
believe that we do on some level.
I like to think I personally do.
Yeah,
And people can call me eccentric, or they can call me mad, or strange, or lack of boundaries, whatever. And yeah. So sometimes it's good for me, sometimes it's not. But what I've learned is I don't want to do business with anyone I don't want to have lunch with. And I only want to have lunch with people that I can be honest and open with.
yeah,
I mean, I know you've got to kind of play the game a bit and take time to build the relationship. Yeah, but I don't want to kind of oversell myself and over this and over that because
yeah,
I mean, there's a Facebook advert that I got for a Harvard online MBA for $69,000, and I just don't see the value in that. I just don't see the return on the investment. I just think, like $69,000 for an individual to do an online training to get, an Harvard MBA step. I just think that's like, fuck.
I just think it's out of date. I want to be
Huh?
brutal. It's out of date. It's a
Yeah.
thinking that caused a massive problem on the planet, that kind of thinking in the first place. So of course you wouldn't want to subscribe to something like that. And that's been my dilemma with our industry to a certain degree, as being, wanting to make a difference, yet still being part of the system. I know you don't like me to knock the system too much, but I can't help myself, David, sometimes,
No,
Um,
knock the system as long as it's
but we've got to
based
work
on
with it.
coming up with a solution. I
No,
mean,
we've
there's
got to
nothing.
work within the system. And I think the only way I know that is going to make a difference is when people have a sense of self.
Mhm.
Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Like a sense of self. Like, okay, I have a place. I'm okay. Or even if I'm not okay, I'm okay. I'm not discarded, discounted, and dismissed. And actually I'm brave enough to be able to at least say what's more meaningful for me to say, so that I get to sleep better a bit at night, because I wasn't a complete fake superficial tonto who completely disagrees and lost his soul in the process, that kind of thing. And
Yeah.
helping people to do that in a responsible way, because I think I've have been guilty sometimes of being a little bit of a bull in a china shop at times. I own that.
I've
So
never been with that.
yeah, I think you're the one guy who can actually beat me at that one, uh, which I have a weird respect for. um, but you know what I think you get the point. I think I
No,
made
no,
the
no,
point.
no. I get exactly what you mean. I get
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah, yeah, and yeah. Let's somehow it's. I want to. My success is knowing that I have actually lived up to the notion that I've had someone's back and I was there for them. And I said something that enabled them to feel seen. Like they got a sense that someone actually saw them, held the space for them, and gave them love without judgment. You know, gave them love without judgment. And that love on some level was some kind of nourishment, some kind of nurturing, some kind of nourishment. And I think there's many, many of us who need more of that, myself included, David. And that's what was missing, you know.
So where do you need nourishment, Mark?
I I still struggle to like myself at times. And so I look for love in the wrong places often. I've learned more and more to do that less and less. Yeah. Um, just like you, I had the whole narcotic episode of my life, really just looking for distraction and love on some, on some level. And also that then becoming addicted to the intensity of the experience. And now learning a more quieter, still way of nourishing. Um, Paying attention to the people that do value me, and giving them love back, being soft around the edges. And it starts with me being softer with me, because I have been incredibly tough on myself. incredibly tough. I would say that I was in part my own abuser. I abused myself.
How did you stop?
Well, by owning what I've just shared with you and stating it and listening to the feedback, the incorruptible feedback that life itself is. You know,
Incorruptible feedback. Oh, I like that saying.
yeah.
Incorruptible feedback.
Our life, our own life, and where we are right now is our own feedback. It's hard to take that one, but it's true. Right? Yeah. But I think we do need to balance that feedback by not having the wrong lens of success, just to link what we were talking about earlier. So, in that incorruptible feedback, I also don't want to define it through the terms of society's definition of success or the conditioned definition of success. Yeah. Some of the biggest abusers and monsters have been very rich.
I know.
It's a true statement, and like people won't like me for saying that. Some won't like me for saying it. Let me not say it all. Some will get me.
Okay.
You know,
So,
yeah.
are you as disillusioned with the coaching industry as you were a week ago, 4 weeks ago?
No, we have our place. The industry exists for a reason. It might have got lost in itself. So the industry might have got lost in its own illusion of itself, its own concept of itself. And because selling is so hard and selling is so difficult and having to earn an existence is tough, so people, I understand, would want to oversell and hype it up and do all that stuff. I really get it. But
But I mean, you've been around since Plato.
yeah, and now we need to just be a little bit more humble and stay in continuous development ourselves and still do what we do, but really ask the right questions rather than smokescreen ourselves. Like certain kind of smokescreen was, oh wow, I gave an amazing coaching session there. For me, that's a smokescreen. It's like, really being a bit deeper in the reflection. Like, is my client able to actually integrate the session that we've just had? Is it likely to be followed through on? Are they able to process properly what they've just shared? That kind of thing.
I had a session with someone on Friday that we decided not to post
Okay.
because the person was very kind of angry with me that they were coming to an end. Yeah. And the coaching was coming to an end, and we had many hats. Yeah. So we met in the Mankind Project. I offered to kind of give him some coaching to kind of help him in his career, and I thought it would be good for me. And he became a friend. Yeah, and so all the roles got enmeshed, and it was like, what fuck are you dumping me now? And was I just used?
Wow.
So yeah, so that was a nice, courageous conversation. Yeah, sorry, I lost the thread of that.
Okay. But now you got me curious just to know that. So how's the relationship now?
Well, I mean, the in the end, he asked me to go fishing with him.
Fishing can be good.
So I thought, yeah, okay, fishing is not really my thing, but what he loves about it is just kind of sitting on the banks of the river and having a chat and fishing, and yeah, I'm happy to do that. But I mean, in the beginning, I was quite specific with the contracting. I'll see you for 6 sessions, and then we'll end. And I obviously wasn't clear enough, and and you know,
I
it's
think we
always
will.
it's always an edgy thing for me. It's like, do I keep someone engaged in coaching because I need the money, which I don't do. I mean, I always like try and terminate as, I wouldn't say as quickly as possible, but I mean, when I first started out, I used to have such anxiety about, like, oh my God, what's going to happen? Am I ever going to get another client again? All that sort of stuff. You know, upselling and all that shit. I'm not good at that at all, and I don't want to. It just sits and feels uncomfortable with me.
Sure, sure. Well, I respect you owning that in yourself, and yeah, I do it slightly differently. I don't. I contract that we're actually only going to sign up for 2 sessions to start with, and then we're going to review whether this is working. And
Okay.
then if it's working, then we'll sign up for another 2. So that's how I personally do it, because I
Okay.
also am similar in that some coaches are signing people up for year-long contracts and like all these sessions and saying, well, the journey only begins halfway through. I completely don't agree with that, because you don't know what's going to happen. And sometimes I've had epiphanies in the first session, and sometimes I've had epiphanies in the fourth session, or sometimes I haven't had an epiphany at all. So, you know, um, that's why I do it the way that I do it. That
Okay.
feels right for me. And yeah,
Yeah, I would go with that. I'd resonate with that.
yeah, yeah. So I'm glad you shared that. And, just coming back to my vulnerable sharing at the beginning, I do need to find a way to be doing enough. I do need to find a way of doing enough that doesn't feel forced or fake. And I'm in that process right now. And as I said to you, like, where am I in this journey? That's part of me putting the pieces together and seeing where I can add value and get a return for the value that I offer. I'm not looking for extortion here. I'm looking for value return. That's it. Bottom line. I give you value, you pay for the value you receive. And I'm putting that together right now. I'm in that process. So thank you for journeying with me in that process of being completely, it's kind of at one end of the spectrum and kind of like coming back to a more balanced view. I think that's where I am now, more balanced view.
Yeah, yeah, you're fantastic. Oh, you're all a piece of shit. It's like, oh, okay, well, let's try and work this out together.
Yeah, yeah. And that's what we did kind of live. I think that's kind of cool in a way.
Hmm.
Who does that live? Because I mean, on the first one, I got a couple of interesting emails from people like, "What the fuck, Mark? Are you okay? You've just trashed the whole coaching industry, and like you just called it a shame, and you said this, and like, are you? What's happened to me? Oh my God, like there's some serious concern for me." Then as each
So
session's gone
my
on,
experience has been the complete opposite.
oh
I
really?
think, yeah, I think you've come on and brought your authentic self, and we've used the principles of coaching to kind of co-collaborate and work something out. I mean,
Yeah,
you've still got a job, you've still got a career, the world has changed.
yeah.
Uh, Coaches go in and help develop leaders, develop culture, and you know, the old way of doing things certainly needs a bit of a shake up.
So maybe we were contributing, even in our own small way, to the culture of this industry that you and I are both in, even if it's on a small level. And I
Well,
think
I
that would
mean,
be a
a lot
wonderful
of
way
people
to look at
they don't like to meet online. They need to feel and touch people.
yeah,
I disagree. I think it's that stuff can happen. It's just in a different environment.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
All right, mate. So should
Um,
we
well,
leave it there?
I think we'll leave it there unless along this journey we get inspired to do something again.
Mm,
So let's just stay in touch offline. And in that offline contact, we might decide something goes online. For me, that
sure.
sounds awesome.
All
How's
right.
that for you?
Are you checking out? Nice
Thank,
breath.
thank you, firstly, to you for reaching out to me. Um, I acknowledge and appreciate that, for giving me a platform to share a bit of myself. And it really doesn't matter who or what or how many, it just was a platform to talk these things through. And for that, I honor and respect you and value that. And you need to know that. And I appreciate that. And then to anyone else who feels they want to talk to me, my door's open for an authentic dialogue. Yeah. And I'm absolutely okay, and always actually was okay, even if I wasn't okay. And I think that's a nice way to leave it. Yeah.
Thanks, Mark.
Thank you, David.
Grateful.
Yeah.
This has been fun.
Yeah. It has been cool. It always seemed to flow nicely, even though I didn't really know what I was going to say half the time.
Me either.
Yeah.
Bye.
Yeah. Good. Cheers, buddy.